And we start in South Africa. Its Reserve Bank has raised its benchmark repo rate by 25 basis points to 7% as it tries to tame rising inflation despite slow growth. Now, Reserve Bank Governor Lesetja Kganyago raised the rate against expectation of analysts who are betting on rates to remain unchanged. But Kganyago said the Monetary Policy Committee remained concerned about the weak growth outlook amid negative business and consumer confidence. Now, the bank targets inflation at between 3% and 6%. Of course, the prime lending rate now stands at 10.5%. Of course, today we saw markets have been rattled by the spat between the Finance Minister Pravin Godhan and the police. And of course, recent claims that a wealthy family with close ties to President Jacob Zuma may have been behind his decision to sack the country's respected Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene in December have worsened the situation. Now, President Zuma dismissed claims in Parliament today. He insists that his appointments are not influenced by any quarters other than the ruling ANC party.
Food prices have been accelerating faster than previously expected due to the weaker exchange rate and the intensification of the drought, resulting in an upward revision to the food price forecasts. Given the upside risk to the inflation forecast and the protracted period of the expected breach, the MPC decided that further tightening was required to complement the previous moves. Accordingly, the MPC decided to increase the repurchase rate by 25 basis points to 7% per annum effective from the 18th of March 2016.
Now, still on those rate hikes today, let's head back to South Africa to find out more about today's decision, of course, to hike its rate to 7% and the political storms that are brewing in the background. Now, we're joined by Sumitra Naidu in Johannesburg. Sumitra, welcome to the show. Now, of course, there seem to be no surprises today. Many expected the Reserve Bank to, of course, continue this rate hike cycle. Now, what are the key takeaways from Kganyago's MPC announcement?
That's right, Uche. The governor has always been very outspoken about the bank's main mandate to keep inflation under control. However, the mandate is meant to also accommodate growth and job creation. And considering that the economy is very weak at the moment, the ongoing drought is also having an impact, and there's widespread concern of a downgrade. Some economists thought that rates may just remain on hold. Even when the governor was speaking this afternoon, he delivered a rather grim outlook for the economy going forward. There were moments where I even thought that he wasn't going to hike. But yes, overall, not much of a surprise when you look at the inflation rate. It's already breached the 6% target band, and it's expected to tick up further this year. According to the bank's forecast, inflation will peak at 7.3% by the fourth quarter of next year before it starts easing. That is very worrying. We haven't seen inflation that high in years. From the comments today, the Reserve Bank is clearly concerned about the inflation risks, which are largely being caused by the weak rand and high food prices. With both these variables likely to remain under pressure, the bank had to act.
Now, Sumitra, today's decision came against the backdrop of a growing political storm, of course, surrounding President Zuma, the Gupta family as well, and of course, Minister Godhan and the police. Now, at this stage, South Africa seems to be heading for disaster. What's your take on what's going on?
Well, it certainly is a mess at the moment, and while most South Africans think this is a crisis, the president seems to differ. He was in Parliament today and went about answering questions like normal, laughing and joking like there was no massive storm outside. He just didn't see the gravity of the situation. So there's two ways of looking at this. Is this the beginning of the end, or is it just the end? There's been some interesting political commentary in recent weeks around leadership in the country, suggesting that this will all unravel the dirty tricks and clear the way for new leadership in the country. So even though it's been quite dramatic in recent weeks, it's likely to get worse before it gets better, but it will get better. By then, it's all out there, dealt with, and we start on a clean slate. On the other side, this may be wishful thinking. The timing couldn't be worse, and the economy will, of course, suffer. Having said that, South Africa is still strong in so many ways. Today, for instance, the Reserve Bank backed up its credibility and its independence. It was a really tough decision today, and it's also an election year. Press freedom is also key. The recent wranglings were exposed by the media, so there's some level of accountability here. So it's not all doom and gloom, but you know, it could go anywhere at this stage.
And like you said, the timing couldn't be worse. Of course, officials from Moody's ratings agency arrived in the country yesterday. Now, what is the consensus at this point? Is a downgrade inevitable?
Well, it's still hard to tell. The Treasury is pulling out all the stops to prevent this downgrade. The Moody's team is here actually on the minister's invitation following his visit to London just over a week ago. So they're clearly willing to listen. But South Africa's problem has been the lack of implementation. It has great policies, some of them overly ambitious, but the problem lies with turning all of this policy into action. And this has really been the problem for so long. There's just been that lack of implementation, and this is why we haven't seen the growth. Of course, there are external factors at play here as well, global shocks affecting the economy as well. But, you know, the Moody's as well as the other ratings agencies, they've been warning for a long time that a lot of this policy is great, but it needs to be implemented. We need to see growth, and that's the problem here. We just haven't been seeing that. So it may still take some time before we see that implementation, even though the government is acting really fast right now. But we're not too sure what the Treasury is doing. All of those meetings that the Moody's officials will be having this week, whether that will be enough to stall them at least for a little while.
Well, thank you, Sumitra, so much for those insights. Sumitra Naidu joining us from Johannesburg.